And this is it. The end of the game, presumably.
Meanwhile, Iris still lying in the supply closet like, holy shit. Dude, get out of here. Don't do this to me, Iris. And Iris just like, wow, that sounds like a familiar line. It couldn't possibly be that somebody was telling you that like 20 minutes ago.
Perish the thought.
She was like, okay, I see what you're doing there, but... It's like, I actually have a job to do, Iris. Granted, it was never, like, formally established that they were actually Mavericks. Like, basically X and Zero, like, yeah, you're Mavericks.
Yeah, they kind of gloss over that part.
The thing I specifically told you not to do. It's like, well, everything technically is not over. And then for some reason, by combining with Colonel's soul, I guess, she turns into a right armor.
Well, that's some wooden voice hacking.
Well, I mean, at least it kind of makes sense in this scenario. I'd say she's grieving, but she's just like, God, I don't even care anymore. Did you just knock out my soul? My brother's soul? Yes. I like how they don't even give it like any sort of justification about how it can fire a beam. The beam just comes out.
Dude?
Yeah, whatever. Iris and her endless supply of whatever the hell Blast Hornet's weapon is in X3.
Remember when Lucas Gilbertson redubbed this cutscene?
Yes.
Iris, there's no world just for Reploid. It's only a fantasy.
We can't build each other.
I wanted to live in a world where only Reploids exist.
I want to touch your boob.
Iris.
Lit.
Iris. 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 Iris.
Slaps her. Bitch, wake up!
Iris. Iris. Ah! No, this isn't happening. There's no reason for me to go on. What? What am I fighting for?
Zero, like, walking away, like... Iris just kind of lying there, still dying, like... Are you gonna give me, like, your sub-tank or anything? What? Sorry, I can't hear you. We had our moment. I'm out of here.
Is that kind of like Eris?
I'm a robot. I don't have a conscience.
Wasn't that the whole point of debate between, you know, Reploids and X? As I recall.
Kind of.
I think I have a simpler way to explain it, like what I was trying to get at. Like, all Reploids are basically sociopaths, but X is actually a fully, you know, fully X is fully emotionally functional. There we go.
I have no choice but to be hit. I like how it feels like the game kind of takes pity on you by how much damage you can do in like one swing.
Yeah, maybe.
Capcom like, sorry we made this so difficult. Wasn't our intention. Take the hit. That was just from the basic single hit /2 at the start. Like a quarter of his health. Nothing. Wait, how does Zero know?
Well, I mean, if someone has hijacked the giant fuck-off space laser, it can really only be one guy. And you know what Sigma would do with a giant fuck-off space laser. That is point it at Earth and pull the trigger. Just because he can.
Zero like, okay, but then what? Someone else is controlling the weapon. Shit, who could it be? Like, it just cuts to the control center, like Roro and like the fat baby-headed guy in Twilight Princess buys that shop, and the shopkeeper changes. Like Sigma's doing that, hitting buttons.
I'll take care of this person. By yourself, Commander? I don't want any more of my people being sacrificed.
Why did he sound so evil about it? Wait, could Sigma actually... I don't know, he could do that in the next one. So
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense. I'm just imagining Sigma explaining this fight to somebody. It's like, okay, so why did you have a fist fight with him?
He started it.
Like, sir, I don't mean to, like, poke holes in your story, but we have guns built into our hands.
Sigma's like one of the few Reploids that doesn't have a gun arm kind of thing.
Apparently he does have some kind of buster. Then again, I'm kind of taking this based on Marvel vs. Capcom more than anything. It does actually have a super called Doombuster. Just changed the name of his own gun.
I really don't think Marvel vs. Capcom is canon.
Actually, like, you can't just change the name of your Buster. It's going to be the Sigma Buster forever. That's how it works. Once again, raising questions about the nature of beam sabers in this setting.
I think it's more like electrical plasma than it is laser beam.
How did I cut off your hand? Who knows? It's a mystery.
Well, you can, you know, dislodge a limb at a joint with a metal pipe as easily as you can with a blade. It just takes more blunt force.
No, Sigma broke the pipe at that point. Meanwhile, in Zero's head, why is like, stop, stop it! Spraying him with the spray bottle.
Commander Sigma.
Incredible. Now I'm certain there's no one who's a match for Commander. What?
Oh wow, he got fucked up.
To the repair center and call Dr. Kane. I wish to have that maverick studied.
Commander, are you okay?
No! Do it fucking look okay? Zero just had the boss store, his own boss store, just sitting in the middle of a mountain somewhere. I like how Sigma asked it like a question. It's like, okay, like, you knew, you were there, we were both there. Again, there won't be any lucky punches this time.
Are you ready for your final journey?
I am disembodied Sigma voice. Still like to imagine Sigma, cloak on fire, like, maybe this was a bad idea.
Yes, perhaps I should not bring a flammable piece of clothing to fight where my enemy is likely to use fire against me.
Like, but I gotta have a theme. It's like, I'm just gonna stick with it. Like, whatever happens, happens. That's the nature of the beast. Get in one cheap shot right off the bat. Thought that was supposed to be his weakness, but apparently fucking not. Only applies to X, I suppose.
Apparently. Which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when you think about it, because regardless of who is fighting them, they should still have the same weaknesses.
It's not the right kind of electricity. Actually,
Yeah, you see, this is amplitude modulation. Wait.
X's is AC current.
Yes,
Zero's is DC current.
that's what I was trying to say. Alternating current and direct current. What the...
Zero is his Edison, X is Tesla. I think I got that order right.
Too soon.
You are finished.
Zero just running and jumping around the boss room like, she might still be one though. It's like, wait, no, robots, we don't really do that. It's like, room temperature, I suppose.
You know, when I think about it, it's kind of hard to justify Reploid's death in that regard. Like, if they don't blow up, if they're physically intact, just heavily damaged, how is it that they can't be repaired? Does their memory core just kind of self-destruct when they're in that state, or what?
I thought in Iris's case is that her CPU couldn't handle the strain of like all kernels programming too or something. Which is why they were split in two in the first place.
Maybe, I don't really know the backstory.
I believe that was like the justification, since there was supposed to be one Reploid at one point.
That's never really hinted at all in the game, so...
It's just in the source books.
Yeah, and I don't pay much attention to the source books.
I do. I love source books. I love knowing meaningless lore and trivia about shit.
The thing is, it really is meaningless, because if it's not in the game, who the fuck cares?
People who buy the source books.
It's like, okay, it's nice that you thought about all this, but, like, put it in the fucking game. Don't save it for errata.
Shit, it's not even like an errata. They probably just write that shit while they're doing it. It's like at how some point they actually, like... in one of the Street Fighter source books, they actually have descriptions of what it feels like to be hit by every kind of projectile in the game.
I remember you saying that, yeah.
Much like height and weight, it's not to scale. Because I think for Sagas, it's like being hit by a tiger shot supposedly feels like being mauled by a tiger. It's like, okay, that kills you, so...
Yeah.
There may be some slight exaggeration. And apparently Hadouken's feel like being punched in the face, which I guess appropriate.
Yeah.
It feels like you were punched in the face at long range instead.
Gotta love ranged touch attacks, right?
Pretty much. Meanwhile, in 5th edition, there's no such thing as touch attacks anymore. There's just melee and ranged attacks.
Well, that's a damn shame.
There was like a little bit of maybe casters are a little bit too good in comparison to fighters, which they fixed in 4th edition, and then everybody's like 4th edition sucks.
Right. So, like, I was going to make a joke there about, Muscle Sorcerer or something. I cast Fist!
One thing they did keep that I like, though, was skill condension.
Which is...
Like, a bunch of skills got merged into one.
Oh.
That, and there's a such thing as, passive perception now.
Mm. He blinded me with, well, I was going to say science, but it wasn't really science. It was more social engineering and blackmail.
I really love how Japanese media loves to do that. Like, stop it. It's like, but then it's like, yes, I will die. That's... It's like, great, you understood. Yeah, there's a passive perception and passive investigate. It's basically like now you don't have to, if you roll lower than what your passive is, you just use your passive instead.
Is this the first point at which they
Now they show.
blatantly show that Zero was built by Wily?
No, they actually do a close up earlier than the first cutscene.
I meant X4 in general.
Yeah, well, I think it was first him. Otherwise, it was just subtly implied by what's his name, Sergey,
Sturgis?
Surgeon's Law,
Sturgeon?
Surgeon General.
And there was that bit at the end of, I think it was X3, that speculated X would eventually have to fight and destroy Zero for whatever reason.
The battle has ended, but for some reason, Zero's memories of the past continue to haunt his mind. As a hunter, it is his duty to go after Mavericks, and at the same time, he knows that it is his destiny to defeat his friend one day. 2 different people, 2 different fates. In the future, Zero's decision will lead to two hunters to tragedy. The future is coming. The future is here. It happened. They fought. Nobody really won.
Yeah, it was really more of a draw.
Anyway, next time on Radical Bromance.
Probably X5, maybe eventually.
Eventually.